No.
And did you ever get any money from Meyer Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those
None of those fellas. None of these that I've been reading about, or none that I knew. They never gave me anything.
None of the Machetes?
No. I don't even speak to it. I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk to him.
You don't like him?
No.
Night Court with Joe Lanou, live on X.
Also known as Duck Corella.
I refuse to answer on the grounds you made attempt to
You
criminate.
got any business?
I refuse to answer on the grounds you attempt to criminate.
You have any profession?
I refuse to answer on the grounds you made attempt
You
to
have any
criminate.
occupation?
I refuse to answer on the grounds you made attempt
Are
to
you a
criminate.
known racketeer?
I refuse to answer on the grounds you made attempt.
Good evening, happy Friday, folks. It's time for our grand jury police use of force video show. We have with us tonight, we've got Jason for the law enforcement side. Looks like that's going to be it for the night. Maybe John will come in later, and myself. We've got Lawyer Joe and Dr. Douglas Ahern Esquire. If you're not following these folks on X, you probably should be. As our legal minds tonight, and Fidji, Bruce Wayne, and Vet LT3, along with our co-host, all of those, four of those are co-hosts. Big Ron with us tonight on the civilian side. But before we get to the videos, I listened to a little bit of Donald Trump's address at the Department of Justice today. And he made a comment that he wanted to make anyone who kills a police officer in the line of duty while he's on duty, I guess. He thinks that, or he wants to make it the death penalty automatically. What do y'all think about that?
I'm 100% okay with it. 100%.
Yeah, I think
I thought that was
numbers.
that used to be one of the ways you could get the death penalty was to kill a police officer.
He doesn't have the authority to do it. Murder is a state issue, not a federal one. So he could do it for.
Let me pause you.
He could do it for federal agents, but he can't not for state cops.
Let me pause you. There is a violation in the 18 code for murder.
Federal.
No,
It's a federal.
It's where
they can assert federal jurisdiction.
Yes.
Over a state crime.
Yes,
But it's also
they do it all the time.
Yeah, it's also a federal crime.
Yeah, I have it in my favorite redhead lawyer. God darn it, I love her. But now they can usurp authority at any time. But I will also agree with you that anything that is quote unquote automatic sounds wonderful. Okay, but when you have the 17-year-old kid with an IQ.
I lost Dr. Doug.
Me too.
I thought I did something.
Actually,
Yeah, me too.
Sorry. No, and let me finish the analogy. If you got the 17-year-old kid with the, playing with the revolver that he picked up from his dad's nightstand, and he's clicking on it because he doesn't know what he's doing, and the cop walks up to say, "Hey, what's going on, son? Are you okay?" The gun goes off, the cop dies, and you're going to put him to death. Automatic type laws like that, there's a reason that they don't exist.
Well, at 17 years old, I would question the accidental. 7 years old, maybe. I could see that, but not
apparently
at 7.
you've never, Ron, do you know any special needs kids? Because there are plenty that age. My son's 13, almost 14. He goes to a special needs school, and there are kids older than him who that wouldn't even faze me if that happened.
Like I said, we could be standing on pavement, you guys still find the grass and get in the weeds.
That's what lawyers do.
I know, but I think it's I think it's a more simple. I look at it in a more simple context. I don't want any automatic law. I think the 12 people that decide your guilt should decide your fate. Now I'm okay with sentencing range. 5 to 20, or you could get this is an offense that does qualify for the death penalty. But I do say the federal government can absolutely do it. He would have to put some more assets on the ground as far as AUSAs and districts and some infrastructure for them if states are sanctuary states or whatever, they don't want to participate. But he absolutely could do that, but I'm not a fan of it.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have to have enough marshals to go to every state to take custody of people. You're gonna have to have enough room in, like, it's a pain in the ass. If you've ever dealt with federal and state law at the same time, like, it's a fucking pain in the ass. And they're,
Yeah,
but
I'm familiar. I understand what you're saying, but once it gets sucked up into that federal system, they've got a way of doing it, whether they got marshals or not. That you can house them anywhere if the government will pay for it.
no, I know some federal public defenders because I used to work at the federal public defender's office, and I would suggest they not fuck around because some of those people are there for the principle. But I'm with Joe. Any absolute law, because you can't account for every last scenario, every last factor, everything in any situation. So you need to have a range. Like Joe said, from no time to the death penalty. This is available for this crime. All of these punishments are available if a jury decides it's appropriate. Automatic laws are stupid.
And I didn't want to get down too far on this. I'll give Dr. Douglas a piece on this. And Jason, if you'd like some, go ahead. But we'll get to some videos here pretty quick.
No, I actually don't. I don't have an issue with that suggestion to run the range of penalties, which in federal sentencing, that's what we work with. We work sentencing ranges. But as to your point, as crisscrossing federal and state jurisdictions, for a large point, that's what I do. There's kind of a niche business of, like Texas law interceding with federal law that, you can sit there and you can be, having a conversation with a state trooper about an aggravated robbery, right? And you realize that all of a sudden there's an FBI agent standing there at the corner of the room because they're going to bring you up on federal charges. And almost any law that you can violate, okay, and I'm not going to say all of it, the minutia, but almost any law that you can violate at the state level, there is going to be a reciprocal federal law that you're violating at the same time, and people have to be really careful of that.
As a state, I'm bringing up a 10th Amendment claim every single time. Moving on.
Good luck. Yeah,
No.
good luck.
Good luck.
Can I pipe in real quick?
If you can, yeah, go ahead. Pipe in.
I'll make it short. I think we're going in the weeds on this a little bit. To me, it's the message of it. And if you look at what we went through since certainly George Floyd and even prior to that, on the image of police officers and the disrespect police officers getting, the image of that statement is awesome. It's backing up law enforcement. I agree with you're judged by, and I've worked with FBI a lot. If you murdered an officer, the Fed should come in and take that case. But you have to go through due process to actually get convicted until it goes to a federal side. So I get the point that you just can't blanket this, but the message will bring back the respect that law enforcement has to get people, civilians, to think twice before they pull that trigger. But there's still that process that goes through, and I'm all in favor of the message, but I'm also all in favor of due process to get to that teeth.
No, I thought it was interesting. And technically, he wouldn't be able to change that. He could just ask the Justice Department could ask AUSAs or USAs to pursue the death penalty wherever it's applicable, and it would be for capital murder.
We should talk about it in the after party.
I didn't mean to talk about it this long, but you want to go down the road of let's.
You can't ask lawyers questions and not expect that kind of.
Yeah, no, you could do that, and also, Ron brings up a good point because of the depreciation of the value of law enforcement in the United States.
That wasn't Ron.
In the last, I'm sorry, Jay. In the last, he didn't. He's like, my name's not Jay, it's Jason. But in the last 5 years, hell, I did my dissertation was part of that. Okay, that I think that's a topic for a good conversation. You should probably do a whole show.
I'm not afraid to do that. You guys know it. But let's go to one that's going to touch you. Let's see your reaction to this whole mess right here.
County 911. What's the emergency? Over here. Hello? This is Racine County 911.
What's the address of
Yeah.
the emergency?
My mom is being bad.
Okay. What's going on?
Hello? Come and get my mommy.
Okay, what's going on?
Come get my mommy.
Do you know your...
Hello.
Hi, what's going on over there?
Oh, this little one got the phone, and he's 4.
Okay.
And we're trying to catch him because he said he was going to call 911.
No, I
And then
called
we-
him. I just called the police, and I just told her to come and get my mommy. And I just told her, and I just told her to get my mommy, and I just told her to put her to jail. So leave me alone.
I ate his ice cream, so that's probably why he's calling 911.
Okay, so you don't need police, fire, or rescue?
No.
No? Okay. All right, well, go ahead and disregard. Can I just have you confirm your address, and can I get your name, please? Okay, we'll go ahead then and disregard if you don't need police, fire, or rescue.
Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
Bye-bye.
Hi.
Oh, it's the police. They came for real.
Yeah, we have to just come check, make sure everything's okay.
Hey, what you do?
Did you call the police?
Yeah.
Why?
I told my mommy to go to jail
Why do you want mommy to go to jail?
because I beat her. Because this is bad to me.
Why is she being bad to you?
Because her doing silly stuff to me.
What's she doing to you?
Just keep on doing.
She hate you, or is it because you didn't get ice cream yet?
I didn't get ice cream.
So is that why you're upset?
Yeah, that's why I didn't get no ice cream.
Oh, get the little one.
No, it's so hard to yell at them.
A police, yeah.
So no calling 911 unless it's a real emergency, okay?
What do you call for?
I
ate his ice cream. You ate his ice cream?
Mommy has to go to jail.
Should we take her to jail for eating your ice cream?
Yes.
I agree.
I would let you arrest me.
I agree. Now she gotta go get you new ice cream?
Yeah.
Well, it really wasn't his ice cream. We had 2 ice creams, but I told him I was going to eat it because
What are you
he was not
doing?
listening and he was running around.
What are
So I
you
opened
doing?
my ice cream and I started eating it. He thought it was his.
Because
So,
that's
yeah.
Oh, that's how little you are.
And she's about to be
But
2.
you're a munchkin like that, walking around.
And she's about to be 2.
Uh-oh.
There's still one.
What kind of ice cream was it?
White.
White?
Vanilla?
Some vanilla? Did it have anything in it?
No.
Oh.
We couldn't find any sprinkles.
So tell mom she's got to go get you some ice cream with sprinkles now.
Awesome. Ice cream with sprinkles.
Jason, how many of those you been on?
No, it's okay. I was laughing at
A lot.
This is the first time he has ever done anything like
There's really nothing to this. It was just a 911 call. I thought it was interesting. Another interesting fact is that I think B brought it up good on the welfare check. In most states, you're required by law to make contact on a 911 hang up, even if there's no audio in between the calls. If it connects, somebody's got to go check. How do they do that in Minnesota, Jason? I know you check a 911 hang up, but
We go to all of them, and it's actually in moments like this, it's actually a good opportunity to get the cops to create a good impression on the kids.
oh yeah, it is.
You know, I had a friend whose stepdaughter was severely mentally disabled, but she loved the police, and she would call 911 like all the time. And it was just trying to get her to stop was next to impossible.
Did your local agency know her?
Yeah, they did get to know her pretty well, but she was so sweet. And the agency, the police there were lovely. They invited her over to the 911 center, and she got to see all of that. And my friend would take her to, I think I've told you about this, would take her to police station, and she would write down all their license plate numbers on the police cars, and she was just fascinated by the police. That was it.
It sounds like she's
She
really
loved
counting
them.
numbers, writing down plate numbers on officers while they're at work.
You're right. We pretended that she was severely disabled just so she could do counter surveillance. We're slick that way.
Man, when I was working,
But no, I really liked how the police handled her, and they were wonderful people to her. That was nice to see.
No, that was good. Let's go to California.
Gonna be 10301 Beach Boulevard.
And looks like he just jumped a curb, and he's going to be driving up on the pier southbound.
12314. Driving on the pier southbound. Jump the curb.
Please tell me that car is going swimming.
Yep, he's driving southbound on the pier at slow speeds. You got a few pedestrians.
Zach, if you can, that this is a
Still driving on the pier, so speed pedestrians up there.
There you go.
Helicopter better watch out for those birds.
you stopped at the end of the pier, facing south.
Well, that escalated quickly.
It was at the end of the road. Choices had to be made.
Shots fired, suspects down.
There was a lot of enemies
suspects
there.
down.
Oh yeah.
Looks like he has a
Okay.
417
He's got a gun in his belly.
Yeah, Fiji's going to make sure that 100%.
417 in his right hand, suspects down, shots
danger.
fired.
Poor Storm Wolf was found dead.
Wait, what? Is that his actual name? What is that?
That was a female, later identified as Storm Wolf. Her body was found.
That was her actual
Fire,
name? That's wild.
to the best of my knowledge, that is her name.
That was the victim, right?
That was a victim that was killed by the guy that got shot.
Correct. Do y'all want to go back and go through the text on again? And see the video? More of the video.
I got it. I think I got it.
Well, give us an opinion, Fiji.
I'm going to say no, Bill.
Easy enough.
And good. They could have just kicked him off the edge of the pier and saved everyone a bunch of money.
I think that you would have had something to say if they'd done that, but I'll take that. Vet LT3, what do you think, sir?
It's a no, Bill.
Bruce Wayne?
I'm going to go with a no, Bill, as well.
Big Ron?
100% no, Bill. As I like to say, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Lawyer Joe?
Yeah, no, Bill. He murdered somebody and pulled a gun. No
Well,
bill
can
on
you kill him
anything.
for murdering someone?
What?
If he didn't pull a gun, could the cops still kill him for murdering someone?
Not if he wasn't in immediate danger. If he didn't have a gun on him and he just got out with his hands up.
You brought that up as justification. I was just curious.
It was justification for if they already knew that he was a suspect or knew that they knew or had reason to know that he could be dangerous, so he had a gun, he proved it.
But without the gun, you think you still okay with popping him?
No.
Okay. Dr. Doug, what do you think?
No, Bill. and a little disappointed that he didn't drive off the edge of the pier because that's what I was kind of expecting.
Oh, I know. I wanted that car to go swimming so
I was
bad.
hoping it would go that way too, but it fell a bit short.
As did his
He
wife.
didn't have it within him. Come on, if you're going to go out, bro.
Yeah, some people just won't go that extra mile.
Thelma and Louise style.
I think Bon Jovi wrote a whole song, "Blaze of Glory."
I think it's Jason's turn.
No, Bill, and I got to tell you, the minute stuff here, the mag changes were very tactical. Tactically, I thought they did a phenomenal job. I was very impressed.
Yeah, no, I don't have any issues with it. I think it was a pretty clean shoot. A little odd. I've seen some clips of this, like someone holding a cell phone clip on the beach watching this go by, and that video finally got released this week. I was hoping there was a bit more to it, but it's not. And I'm going to say this: all of my sources this week, second time this has happened, actually. Just not a lot of content out there. So I've kind of gone back and pulled some like X videos. Now, I don't know that we can make comments on this. I don't know that we're going to have enough information to make a, good or bad call. But I think all of them are pretty clean, but they're very interesting ones that, and they're a little faster. So I'm going to throw a couple of these up and watch them. But this is, I call this a rope gun.
Hey, I'm Investigator Hennon from the Sheriff's Office. What's your name?
Stephen Blunt.
Stephen Blunt?
Yes, sir.
All right. How long you been staying here?
I've been staying for a while now.
Okay. What you gonna do up to today?
Next month, chilling.
What's going on there? Let me try this again.
Hey, I'm Investigator Hennon from the Sheriff's Office. What's your name?
Stephen Blunt.
Stephen Blunt?
Yes, sir.
All right. How long you been staying here?
I've been staying for a while now.
Okay. What you gonna do up to today?
Next month, chilling.
Let me see your hands! Shot fired! Shot fired! Shot fired! Shot fired!
I think shots were fired.
Shots were fired here. Any part of this anybody wants to review? If not, let's jump in it. We've got tax.
Yeah, can we see that one little piece again? Where he's, I guess the guy's pulling the gun. I just want to see it again.
Just part of
That's
the
okay.
fired.
Yeah. Good on that cop. He was fast.
There's a saying in gunfighting: speed is great, but accuracy is final. We knew who had final shots on this one. So, what do you think about it, Fidgy?
Yeah, I thought that cop did great. He did absolutely great. I'm glad he gets to go home that night.
Now, there was at least three
There's
officers.
this one part. That's what I was trying to see. Like, I saw him pull the gun. The guy named Blunt. I saw him pull the gun. Okay, right. Like, look what he does. He puts it out. What's he doing there?
Yeah, I
He
was wondering the
pulls
same
it.
thing. It almost looks like he's holding the slide.
He's dropping a holster, I think.
Yeah, but that was a fatal mistake. That was a stupid mistake. That's what got him killed right there. Well, I mean, besides him actually pulling the gun and trying to shoot an officer.
Well, Jason, what do you think about the way the officers are positioned? Can you explain the tactical reason in doing that? Because this is a good example of it.
I'm fine with it. Hang on, let me watch again. Let him walk up to the door. Yeah, no. He kind of blades himself. He's got his hand next to his gun. Yeah, he's approaching cautiously. I don't know why they're walking up this door, but he's not walking up for a runaway report.
No, it feels like either a felony investigation or I think it was warrant they'd done him already, but I think it's a felony investigation. He asked him, "What have you been doing today?" And the guy said, "I just been out making money, stacking cash."
He shot at another cop.
Here's my point. There's two officers there. We only see one in the door camera. There's
Yeah.
one to the far right.
That's what I couldn't figure out.
Right.
That's what I was trying to see.
And I say that's good tactics. The officers are standing that way because if he's going to pull a gun, remember, you can have an automatic, but you can only shoot one bullet at a time and at one target at a time. So
Looks like there's 3 total. There's another one that's lined up in behind the that white vehicle. And then there's the main approach, the contact and approach, and then there's another one there kind of to the left of the main officer. Why he drew on the guy to the far right first, I don't know.
That officer could be standing there with his hand on his gun. I don't know why, but when they stand that way, is my whole point, is that if you're going to shoot them, you're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to expose yourself to a gun while you try to take out one of them. I say it's good tactic.
Yeah, and that person's going down, even if he got 1 or 2. So one of the officers.
Correct. If he engages the first officer and hits the first officer, second officer's already got him ear pinned. So
yep, that was a death wish.
I think it's good tactics.
This is actually a really good example of we've had this talk before about action reaction. I would have loved if he pulled out a cell phone in that manner. I still think they're justified in the way he pulled that out. When he makes these movements here, it could be anything. And,
that's just dirty. That's just dirty. You know how many people you're going to catch up in that, right? I mean, probably like 85% of the people are going to be shooting on the shoot, don't shoot, right?
Well, what would a reasonable person believe if they were in that?
No. I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing with what Jason's saying, because 85% of the people on a shoot, don't shoot, right? They're going to cap that guy. Because if he pulls out a cell phone in that type of reaction, especially if there's any kind of a setup, right? Yeah, they're going to shoot. Absolutely. That's an excellent point. Excellent point.
My point was it'd been an interesting conversation with I don't want to say civilians or people who haven't done law enforcement, but the motion he made, it doesn't matter what's in his hand at that point. And they will be justified, and that's where I think if people actually the reaction to an action is slower than the action. But interesting.
Well, anyone who pulls a cell phone out in that manner, they're fucked on a level that. I mean, when I pull my cell phone out, it is not like that. I'm like fumbling, I'm looking at it, and you don't pull it up in that manner. You pull it up right in front of you, not like that. So that I can't even argue with. If you're pulling it out like that, you dumbass. But I mean, if they're pulling out in a manner that you would pull out a gun, I can't really argue.
Isn't that something we should be deciding on every one of these when we watch these lethal uses of force? Is that what a reasonable person would believe that used the force, the actor in that case? Isn't that the whole deal about the use of deadly force? That's what you have to determine.
Hang on, if it's a reasonable person standard, you've got a cop there with his hand on a gun. This guy pulls his gun out. Like you've got a gun. You're a threat to me. So I wouldn't necessarily go with that standard.
Oh, would you? You wouldn't? You'd argue that in court? I'd take you on. I don't even have a law degree. I'd take you on that.
It gets down to there's an nth degree as far as like training and accuracy and a lot of the other things that you have to be real careful that. There's a higher expectation for law enforcement of having that training. So that's part of it.
In criminal court, there is?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. When we're talking about, being able to use the use of force.
I've never seen that written as far as what the standard is for justifiable homicide for a jury to decide, grand jury to decide.
It's the whole, cops are held to a higher professional or a higher standard in this situation because they have training, education, experience, whatever in this situation. So they're held to a higher standard.
If you could just point to that, I'd like to read it.
There's case law everywhere, but I'll find you some.
You know what? One thing there too is, and I would think that most people, if they were innocent or just having a casual conversation or something, if you had an officer with in front of you with their hand on the gun and you wanted to reach for your cell phone, you'd be like, okay, hey, I'm about to pull my cell phone out of my pocket. You're going to tell them what you're doing. You're going to get the permission to do it because there's three of them with guns, right? So even
One
if there
would
was
think.
one, you're going to tell an officer what you're doing.
I just threw it up as an example that, again, based on conversations we had in the past, that I agree with you, Fidji. This is not a normal reaction to an officer asking you questions. A quick move it into your belt line, come out with something in your hand. They don't have the time to determine, is that a gun or is that a pencil? So
Right.
that was my point.
Yeah, there was
And Fiji, you
there was a
actually made the statement. You called it a death wish. That was actually an accurate
it
description.
was. Yeah. There was a case there was a very famous killing of a mafia guy who he had a sub in his hand and it was wrapped in foil and the cops thought it was a gun. They couldn't tell.
Yeah,
And it was at
there's a
night.
ton of cases from cell phones to sandwiches to toy guns, water
Yep.
guns. There's a ton of cases where officers were not indicted because under the circumstances, a reasonable person would have believed.
You know what?
Yeah,
Learn
the
from
red
history.
tips on the red tips on toy guns.
That's exactly why they put red tips on guns.
Yep.
The federal law. The feds are going to protect you from yourself, or maybe from the cops if you're pointing toy guns at them. Let's go to a wrong way guy. Let's watch this one.
So what's he doing?
Right now he's banging on the door
Okay.
with a knife.
So with a knife?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody live in this apartment? Do you know?
Yes. They had a domestic violence about a week ago.
Upon arrival, officers discovered that the suspect had already left the area. Officers then began to search the neighborhood. While patrolling near 15th Street and McDowell Road, officers saw a man.
Stop right there! Stop right there! Put your fucking hands up in the air or you will get hurt! Put your hands in the air or you will get hurt!
Commands were given for him to stop and raise his hands, but he failed to comply and began walking away.
Yeah. Stop right there! Stop or you will get
Sounds like a pepper ball gun there.
As the man evaded officers, they used pepper balls and 40mm or less lethal launchers in various attempts to gain compliance.
He's still walking away. Get on the ground! Got it.
Police department can't invest into an auto feeder.
He's not lethal. It's him.
Throughout the pursuit, the man was observed holding and pointing a gun at officers multiple times.
Copy, Southern Honey, what's wrong?
I thought the dude had a knife.
He just 245 and pointing the gun at me.
Copy, 245, you pointing the gun at you?
Heard that these people.
I'm back to Africa. Copy, southbound.
Yeah, there's your doors. You might be heading back to the apartment.
Is that him running in the pee? Goal 77, is that him?
trying to head back to the victim apartment. Dude, just fucking stop. Yep. There's a house in the back.
He's got a shotgun. We're gonna have to take him out. You ready?
Make sure you're red.
I'm on.
Watch the civilians. He's reloading too.
Got him out. I'm running him over. Hold on. Get on the ground!
Moments before the shooting, another officer attempted to stop the man using less lethal force with a 40mm launcher. However, this officer ultimately collided with the man using his patrol car seconds after the lieutenant discharged his shotgun. The suspect, later identified as 38-year-old David Epeluse, was transported to the hospital, treated for serious physical injuries, and later booked into jail on multiple felony charges. The firearm displayed by the man was determined to be a BB air pistol with a CO2 cartridge, and a dropout clip was recovered from the scene. During the investigation, detectives discovered that the individual involved in the critical incident was not the same person reported in the original 911 emergency call. The actual suspect from the call was later arrested for domestic violence-related offenses.
Okay, did you guys get that?
Two for the price of one.
Do we want to review any part of this?
Nope, I don't need to.
Okay, well, give it to us, Fitchy.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny. So one criminal gets another criminal busted. It's awesome.
But that guy was just walking down the street and he met a description. He wasn't really he didn't break the law until officers contacted him.
Okay. Did he break the law?
Okay. You're like Lawyer Joe. As long as you broke the law, it's okay. Gun him down.
That's right.
I have never said that. That's the opposite of what I've said.
You literally said he murdered a woman, so shoot him down. It's cool.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't. I said because
He's a
he pulled the
suspect.
gun and you
As long
knew
as
he
they
was
knew he was
dangerous.
a
Nowhere to
suspect.
fight.
As long as you said, as long as they knew he was a suspect, I'm good with it.
They just got him one. What's the difference of that, really? I mean, if you really think about it, what's the difference of that? They had a backstory, but what's the difference of that if he did something wrong? You know, when the cops came in contact with him, what's the difference of him doing that and them coming in contact with, say, Joe Blow at the 7-Eleven, who's fairly wonky or something? And what, didn't we see a video where they told someone to move along and they decided to fight and ended up getting shot? I think there's really no difference in there.
You said that 3 times. I'm trying to figure out what that you're talking about. What's the question there? What's the difference in that?
What's the difference between this situation and like them getting a guy who he wasn't the original one that they were going after, but he did commit a crime. So, you know, what's the difference of that and them going up to some guy like a 7-Eleven who's loitering?
It's generally going to be considered a good faith mistake of fact. So if you can articulate that you said you had a call, this was a description, you rolled up on it, whatever the case may be, and the guy's, doppelganger, was standing 15 feet away. So you went to arrest the doppelganger. Is that an illegal arrest? The answer is no. It's a good faith mistake of fact that was the person that you thought that was being described, given the information that you had. And that's part of the reason that, most of the municipalities in the states that they have immunity for that reason.
And you would think that though, if that you're the second person, you weren't doing anything, you were just walking, the cops are like, hey, what's up? And then they're like yelling at you. You're like, I don't know, you'd probably be better off to put your hands up and say, what's going on? Not pull what looks like a firearm on them.
But yet you use the argument on the call with the guy with the robe that what if you got 2 guys standing there, one guy's got his hand on his gun? So maybe that guy had some probable cause to believe that he was in danger, therefore used deadly force to defend himself and been shot down by the police. That was the scenario that you suggest with that.
No, every time cops come up and they have their hand on their gun and the civilian person is just standing there like, and their hands are completely, they're not doing anything. And because we've seen times where they actually draw down on the guy. And I'm just like, if cops were held to the same standard, if a cop's pointing a gun at me, I have every right to take out my gun and shoot him. Every right.
So let's go to your argument there that if police officers make contact, the best thing to do is put your hands up.
Yeah, in a situation like this where you don't know what the heck's going on, I mean, that's what I do. I could come talk to you and figure out you're not the right person and move along.
Okay, I need a PB. I've got you in here twice. Can you talk so I can figure out which one you're in on? I need to remove one of you so I can get Lita in.
I'm here. Figure out which one.
I don't know. I'm going to remove the latest one. If I kick you out, come back. You still with us? PB? Nope, that's the wrong one. I'm going to remove the other one then.
Nice work, Joe.
Hey, I had a 50-50 shot. It was a coin toss.
But was it done in good faith?
Well, it doesn't matter. Right? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter as long as we get to look backwards on it and determine whether it was a correct decision or not. That's how we do things.
Ha ha!
Would a reasonable person have assumed that the one you kicked was the right one?
I thought so, yes.
Was it reasonable?
Yes. Yes, I say it's reasonable. PB, you're back with us? Well,
who's PB?
He is another member of our panel.
He's looking for an appellate lawyer.
He may be. Tactical, what's your idea on this? Who's crunching ice? Mute yourself.
What was that again?
Well, I combined all the give your impression of this video and asked whoever was crunching ice to mute themselves.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes more sense. This is I think that's the one that we were just watching. I'm sorry, I got disconnected and came back. It's not a different one, right? We're still on this one.
No, Joe kicked you out.
Yeah, the non-lethal.
It's still the same one. We have not moved past it.
I mean, I think there's definitely a note to be said in terms of like, if police make contact, if you look for a problem, you can find it more easily, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So like, just making contact, there's now a chance, like statistically speaking, that somebody's going to do something that's going to break the law, especially when we have so many laws in the book we can't even count. So it's just like your statistical probability of ending up in jail or breaking the law because of the law enforcement.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this before we get down this theoretical road. You've got someone with a knife that's beating on a door that officers believe reportedly had been involved in a domestic violence law enforcement intervention the day before. This person is on the run. Who is typing and who's?
That's me. I'm sorry.
Please. I've lost my train of thought. So whatever your point was, it's right.
Thanks, Reggie.
Anyone else with any comments on this video?
I do have a question. It's a tactical, like, how do pepper balls work? Do you shoot the person directly? Do you shoot like because this guy hit the ground several times. So I don't know if that was intentional or he just was missing.
Let Jason pick that one.
Jason had to step away for a minute.
No, I'm back.
Oh, okay. Can you explain?
Yeah, you can either bounce, you can either shoot them in front of them on the ground, and then the stuff will come up and affect them, or you can hit them on the body. One thing with pepper ball though, wind is a big thing because you need to get that cloud to affect their face. So if somebody's hiding in the bushes, you can blast those rounds into the rocks, and it'll come up over their nose. Or if somebody's standing in front of you, you can bounce one off their chest and it'll break open and come up over their face. It's basically pepper spray in a little ball.
It's a powder.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's a powder spray. It dusts up You can dust up from your chest, or it can dust up from rounds they put at the ground at your feet. But that's both pain and the irritant of the.
That's all I wondered, because like I said, the cop, he was hitting the ground, and I didn't know if that was partially intentional, so it probably was.
Yeah, he's trying to give him a little cloud there for this guy to walk into. Jason, did you see this one? I don't know if you had stepped away or not.
I'm sorry, I stepped away.
All right, let's go to a convenience store.
Can I say something real quick before we leave? And it
Go
was
right
just something on that. I apologize. And I always got something to say, so I'm sorry for that. But look, it's an important point. It's something that Jason has mentioned many, many times, and I'm in full agreement with him. You have an entire new generation of officers, okay, that are afraid to exact lethal force when it is unequivocally justified. You probably heard, I don't know, man, maybe 80 non-lethal rounds. Now that guy had a BB gun, but those officers don't know that. He's pointing a gun at them, and it doesn't take very much for a stray round to catch, bulletproof vests are not 100%. He's if they think that he's firing at them, that guy probably should have been taken down with a long gun, and been dropped early on during that video. Those officers were so extraordinarily cautious about doing damage to that guy that had he actually had a firearm, one of them very likely, or somebody else, could have died. That video is an indictment of where we are right now with law enforcement and an entire generation of being scared to death to do their job. And this is coming from a criminal defense attorney, by the way. So there you go.
I don't think you can argue it. Let's watch this next video and see what we can come up with it.
Stop. You got a fire extinguisher?
Yeah.
He's setting fire to stuff. Stop.
Sure.
Stop. Stop.
I asked her nicely.
I don't care. Stop. Yeah, bring it here. Where'd you go? This way? Hey! Stop! Stop! Get on the ground! You threw lighter fluid on me.
Back up.
Hey!
Down on the ground, sir. Down on the ground.
Hey, do not tase him because he'll spark it up.
Okay, we've got a couple of new folks in here that I haven't talked to yet. We've got our friend Lita. All you guys that are following her on X, Lita's going to make some comments on these. But welcome, Lita, and let me know. Were you able to see that video?
Yeah, I could see it. He lit a convenience store on fire.
It appears that he did. Chips, it looks like.
I mean, what if a pregnant woman needed to come in there and get that specific kind of chip before she killed somebody, and this motherfucker setting them on fire?
I felt like he looked like one of the people I used to work with, right? Where we all just want him to be contained.
I think there's some mental illness there for sure. What do you think about the officer's use of force? Do you have any issues with that?
Not really. He's like, I've dealt with people like that a lot, and when you're in a situation when you know they are, for lack of a better word, armed and already prone to doing that, like you're punting. You know what I mean? What are you supposed to do? Tase him and light him on fire? You got to stop him somehow. He can't just run around lighting stuff on fire.
No, it seems reasonable. That's kind of what we're looking for. Would a reasonable person believe that? So you would not indict the officers for the use of force used that you've seen in the video?
Absolutely not.
Tactical engineer, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of abrupt, but I think that's what I would call a creative solution. He didn't die from that, right? No?
I don't know. Now, these are, I'm getting these from a different source. I don't have the background information. You can assume that deadly force was used for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think deadly force was definitely something that a reasonable person would have used in that situation, especially because he threw lighter fluid at an officer, and he was lighting stuff on fire, and it didn't seem like he was there mentally. So I do think a reasonable person would have found a creative solution if they're trying not to kill them, like with a taser.
What's he doing to the officer's car right there? Do you see that?
Throwing lighter fluid on it.
Okay, so you're good with the use of force used there, tactical. Is that, I read that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, let's go to Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. The officer even had the presence of mind to realize that using the taser would be deadly. I think he handled it very well, so no problem with that. It does boggle my mind though that they didn't take into account his. I mean, he asked her nicely. They didn't even take that into account.
Well,
But
that's
no, that guy definitely mentally unwell.
That you
Rude.
Present in court.
Yeah, right. I'd love to see that lawyer try to argue that, but yeah, no, he's mentally unwell, and glad the officers were all right.
Okay, good deal. Big Ron, what do you think?
I think we need to make mental institutions great again. Yeah, I'm good with it. No bill.
All right, Lawyer Joe.
As a person with a mental illness, I agree because some don't have it under control and we need some solution. But here's the thing: I am perfectly okay with what the cop, especially the one in the vehicle, did, because as soon as the guy fell to the ground, he stopped the vehicle. If he was trying to kill him, like if he was intending it to be lethal, he'd have kept going. But he didn't. As soon as the guy hit the ground, he stopped, because if the cops wanted him dead, there were several standing there that could have just shot him. So I think it was an appropriate use of force. You didn't kill the guy, but
That
you
almost sounds
contained
like a
him.
legal test. Almost use the only the amount of force needed to
Yeah,
have effect. Okay.
exactly. And I think that cop was pretty smart doing what he did. No
Well, you
bill.
took a lot of tools out of the tool belt when you start throwing lighter fluid. Even your own firearm could set yourself on fire if you got it on you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Dr. Ahern, are you still with us? Yeah, you are. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I was agreeing with the once he sprayed lighter fluid on an officer, that seriously kind of reduces your options. Now, just for sake of a better argument, if there was another intermediate use of force immediately available, like a beanbag or something, right? You could probably maybe make an argument for that, for not hitting him with the car. But other than that, yeah, no problem. Take him out.
What if there's a third officer there, no lighter fluid on them, and they use their firearm? They don't run him over, but they shoot him. Would you be
No,
okay with
we're getting now we're getting down into the lesser. He's already assaulted an officer. He's already shown that this propensity for violence at that point. I don't think so. I don't think so, because now, especially considering that he's probably covered with the lighter fluid, it's just too much of a danger to be using anything other than some type of a intermediate device that doesn't, other than, for example, like what you were saying with the taser, that's not going to ignite that flammability. No, I don't think that's going to make a difference.
Well, my question was, what if they used a firearm? If the deadly force was a firearm, would you have exception with that?
I'm not going to say I'm going to have an exception with it. I'm just going to say I could make an argument against it. But we're really stretching. We're
It was too
really
much.
stretching.
That would be too much force given the situation.
Yeah,
Because
we're really stretching
Is
for me
hitting
to really put something.
striking someone with a 3,000-pound vehicle, is that deadly force?
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
could be
Is it less deadly
No,
force
it's
than a firearm?
absolutely.
It
You
could
don't
be,
know
but
his
like there,
physical
he bumped.
condition. No, it absolutely is. Yeah. And the truth be told, and Joe, you'll probably agree with this. We would need more information if we're going to go down the hypothetical highways. You'd need more information. You know,
Well, it
is he
is. You
close
just
to a
want to.
neighborhood?
I just
Where
made the
would he
simple.
run out to?
I just made the simple comparison. They use deadly force with the vehicle. Would it make a difference if they used a firearm? He's like, whoa, hang on, that's different deadly force. So that would.
Well, it is. Here's the
From
thing:
what we know now.
firearms. If a firearm was used on him directly, the chances of it being lethal are much higher than a vehicle
If you
going.
use a firearm, it's okay if it's lethal because lethal force is.
Right,
Both
but I'm
are
saying
lethal.
here,
Both are
lethal
lethal. Go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
Here, lethal force wasn't called for, and the cop hit the he went at the guy.
Okay, hold up,
and,
hold
like,
up. You said lethal force is not. We're not at the threshold of lethal force. At which point, when he hits him with a vehicle? So in other
bumping
words,
somebody with a vehicle at 5 miles an hour is not lethal force, unless you run over them. I would argue for the cops for that one all day.
Yeah. Would you argue for a defendant, a girlfriend who's run over her boyfriend at 5 miles an hour, that wasn't deadly? The use of deadly force. That's not
Run
aggravated.
over? Yes. Bumped him on the ground? No, that's assault at most.
Let's watch this bump on
Vehicular
the ground.
assault.
Let's watch on it. Let's watch it. I want to hear it too because it's. Yeah, he just wanted to knock him over.
I'm going to make the point that is unequivocal use of force because his head could hit is hitting the pavement. The guy could have died. However, okay, you're at a point of degrees. If there's no other option at that particular point, yeah, it's justified.
I
think that's like what I was saying
I think
earlier.
if there was a third officer on scene when he's throwing the lighter fluid on the hood of the car, I think if they'd used a firearm and ended his life, I would be justified.
I think they could get away with it. Yeah, yeah, they
All I
probably
was
could make
saying
an
is
argument.
that cop, I think, made a good choice, the one in the vehicle, and I would actually defend him, saying, "Look, I didn't want to kill the guy. I wasn't trying to."
But it
so
would be
I
an
just
emotional
knocked-
defense. It would just make you feel good. There's no really law that kind of backs that up. If you reach the tier of deadly force, it doesn't really matter what you use that's deadly force. It doesn't matter if they killed them or not. It's you've got to have the elements need to be there, which is the reasonable fear of a person or the fear of a third person's serious bodily injury and or death. And I would say that lighter fluid absolutely does that. If he catches my hand on fire, I may not die, but I'm going to be disfigured and it's going to be pretty serious, and I'll have definitely protracted loss of limb while it heals. So yeah, I can kill someone to prevent that from happening. But let's don't get hung up on this one. Let me jump up to and actually I said that
Too late.
Go ahead. If anybody wants to rebut what I just said, and if not, I want to go to Jason.
All right, I'll go. Can you go back to the very beginning when they confronted? I just want to point something out.
Jesus Christ, I wish somebody would. Go ahead.
All right, you got a fire going in the background. There's a felony. You got a guy who's not complying with orders. He grabs onto him and goes back focused on the fire. Why in the blue hell is he not on the ground right here in handcuffs?
Hello.
Sorry, I don't get that. I think
I know the answer. This police
Not sorry.
officer wanted to be a fireman because he goes to the fire extinguisher first and he lets the felon guy walk out the store. Then he goes to approach him and he's just going to make sure he's okay. He gets doused with some lighter fluid and he runs back behind his car. He's going, "Oh my God, he just splashed something on me." I think that officer did a piss poor job on contact of that. I'd let the store clerk who's had the training to use that fire. So you put that fire out, or call the fire department. I'm on this dude because I'm a policeman. I'm going to catch the guy who did it.
Yeah, I thought it was horrible. That guy should have been on his face and handcuffed, and then take care of the fire. Take the threat out first, make the scene safe, and then take care of the other problem. Potato chips aren't going to burn the store down that quick. And this guy's maybe 120 pounds soaking wet. Just put him down, handcuff him.
But at the end of the day, I don't care if the store burns down or not. I'm going to apprehend him. The store clerk needs to get out. Let your insurance take care of it because I don't know what this idiot's going to do when he runs out of the store if I don't apprehend him. He's the real threat. The fire's not the threat. But
he already committed a felony. You have more than enough PC to arrest him right there.
100%. But no, he gets the fire extinguisher and makes sure it's out. And look, there's a break in the video, so it took a while. So here he is. This guy goes to walk out, and it fades out, and it brings it back for this cat finally putting the fire out. He should have been a fireman. That's what I'm going to say.
Maybe you should switch careers.
You're popping in and out. I don't know if you've got audio. I don't know if you're with us or not. I don't know if you've seen the videos. Give me an update.
Yeah, I've seen them. It's just the internet's been acting up on me after the storms we had and this high winds.
You want to make a comment on this video?
I agree with the use of force there. Yes, using a vehicle is deadly force because even though you're only going supposedly 5 miles an hour, but he was going a little bit faster than that. But I mean, you don't know what's going to happen to that person after you hit them. You don't know if they're going to break a leg. You don't know if they're going to kill themselves by hitting their head on the ground in certain situations. I say either way. And
My
then with
point
you
is,
bringing up a firearm, I mean, once you're at that point of, lethal force, you got or deadly
Before
force, you got to
Jason jumps
use
on top of you,
either
let
one of
me.
them.
Before Jason jumps on top of you, what do you think about the very beginning of this? I think Jason's point's going to be, because I'm going to steal it from him because I know what he's about to say, and he stole mine earlier, so I'm stealing his. His point is that you never
Well,
get
at
to
the very
get to
beginning,
deadly. Hang on. His point is you never get to the point to deadly force that officer had done his job and jacked this dude and put him on the ground.
exactly, and I agree with that too. Right here, he already has. You see the stuff in his hand. You see that he's already started a fire. You need to get him, secured and handcuffed, and then let the person that's working there and that knows where the fire extinguisher is use it, put it out. Because I agree with him. Potato chips in a bag like that, I ain't gonna put. Or it's not gonna, just blow up the whole store. So let them do that while you do your job on apprehending the suspect.
Well, let me ask you, officers, in that situation, is the property of that store more of concern or is apprehending that? Which one is the most important for you as a police officer when you get there?
I would say apprehending him, if you don't mind me going first here. Apprehending him because, if you're worried about that stuff and not apprehending him, he could go throw more lighter fluid and it could be on somebody else or it could have been on the actual gas pump and caused a serious problem. Neutralize the threat first.
And call the fire department for the fire.
Yes.
Go ahead, Jason.
I didn't mean to steal your thunder. I watched that a little bit irritated at the cops' response. I've said this in multiple shows. Our number one job in law enforcement is to make the scene safe, control the scene, and then take care of everything after that. So the biggest threat in that moment was not the fire; it was that guy.
Yeah, I 100%. And I was kind of joking with you. I was surprised that no one else picked up on that. We're back on the vehicle. And it's good discussion about the vehicle being used as a deadly weapon. But do think that we never get there if that first officer had responded, in my opinion, the way an officer should have responded to that. But in our audience tonight, we've got B, Burton, and a few others. B says she thinks it's totally justified. And the officer was kind in her opinion. He sure was. He was so kind that he's like, no, ma'am, you don't use that fire extinguisher. I'll use that. Why don't you go apprehend the suspect outside that just caught it on fire? Because, there's only two of us and two things need to get done. I'll take care of this little lady. Because it seems like that's what he did. All right, without further ado, let's go to New Jersey.
So, we'll see what kind of shields we have and stuff. We're going to probably at least need shields. Want to see if you have one, and possibly if I have one in my truck, check mine also.
I tell you what, a modern police officer can't do anything without a shield.
If we have to intervene, we'll do it. But I'm not going in there when he's got like 2 or 3 swords with him either. Me too.
EA was notified he's going to be reaching out to you directly. SWAT was also notified they're going to be sending their ERT unit.
Is a shield a ballistic bunker? Is that what they're talking about?
Sorry, Silver.
We're just going to hold the perimeter here until they get here. I mean, if he's being a little vocal out of his room, like yelling stuff, so if we start hearing anything that maybe sounds... hang on a second, let me go, Captain. He's on the door. Drop him down! Drop him down! Drop him!
Shot fired.
Don't move! Drop the knives! Drop the knives!
I guess he's the last samurai.
Do not move! Turn over!
We're going live.
10-4. You hear that, Captain?
9, verify
I just shot him. He was coming down the stairs at me with the swords.
972 and AOS.
Okay. Anybody want to see any parts of this before we start the discussion? All right,
I know.
Peachy, I'm taking it off. All right, let's go to.
Okay.
Do we lose?
Pause it right here.
Okay.
See, look at that mirror in the back. Just to the right of it, next to the stairs. That looks like a guy standing there with his pants down, with his back to the door.
It's a mirror with coat racks on each side of it. There's a coat hanging on either side of the mirror.
Yeah, but there's something at the bottom there. It looks like legs. I was so confused.
It looks like a separate coat rack that's not part of the mirror thing. It's
Actually, I think you're right. I think it's another coat rack. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the best we have of this, the coat rack of the decor of this gentleman's home?
Well, it kind of struck me funny because I didn't know. When I looked up, I wasn't sure what we were looking at here, and I thought that guy was just standing there and they were talking about him. I was just like, what is going on? So it took me a second to kind of catch up. No bill, by the way. There, you got me out of the way.
Very well. Tactical, what do you think? All right, Bruce Wayne.
No, Bill.
Big Ron.
That's proof that you don't bring a samurai to a gunfight. Definitely no Bill, good shoot.
True facts, true facts. Lawyer Joe.
Yeah, no, Bill. Someone comes charging down the stairs at me with a sword, I'm going to shoot him too.
Yeah.
Does a 21-foot rule get shorter because he's got that long ass thing? You best shoot him way before 21 feet.
Look, I got some ninja running at me with a sword. I'm probably not going to talk a lot because there'll be some action. It's time for me to match what's happening. So it's a no bill for you, correct?
Yes. Oh, and the one other thing, a lot of Xanax, I take Xanax for anxiety, for PTSD at times, as needed. 1 milligram knocks me out for a day. The fuck are these people taking all these essentially body depressants and then they're acting like this? That just blows my mind.
Wait, it doesn't turn you into samurai?
I think it's called drug abuse. The term.
No, Bruce. Within 30 minutes, I'm taking a long nap.
Okay. Let's go to PB. What did you think about this one?
Yeah, again, gentleman running at me with a samurai sword. There's not going to be much talking. Use of force is fine. I like how the other cop got the weapon away from him while the other one still held him at gunpoint.
Okay, Jason.
Sorry, I'm here. I don't know why in the blue fuck they needed a shield or a ballistic. Otherwise fine.
Because it was a medieval battle, obviously.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? We had swords and shields in this one.
I've always
shield wall.
I hate bunkers. I hate them. But anyway, they did a good job.
I imagine they're handy in certain situations, but they do call for them a lot. Squirrel Nuts wants to know, question is why he charged knowing he was going to be shot. Either the Xanax was kicking in and he thought he was attacking dragons and defending his life, or he wanted to be killed by the police. But it's going to be one of those two types of scenarios because he had he couldn't have believed that he was going to do any damage with the sword.
Or he's nuts and thought he was going to do some Matrix shit.
Or they would allow him to get close enough to do any damage with the sword, especially from coming upstairs. But I think the Xanax may be the key to answering your question there, Squirrel Nuts, which, I really don't know the answer. I'm just giving you my opinion. Jason, I forget, you've done, right? You're done, and I'm done too, right? Well, let's go to McDonald's.
Okay, sit down. Sit down, so sit down. One of these motherfuckers. Go ahead, let it go. 195. Let it go. Let it go, man. What you doing, dude? Let it go. You heard him right for time. This is a weapon. Let it go, sir. Let it go. Let it go, man.
That's why the
Let
ice
it
cream
go.
works right there.
Let it go, motherfucker. You know what, my butt?
Is that a real police officer or a red cop?
Security.
Vámonos, vámonos, vámonos. No, quédense ahí, quédense ahí, quédense ahí. You can shot plus, bro. Look, you are. Oh my.
This is another one of those I don't have any background on. You get what you get, but I think there's enough here to actually make a judgment on this. Tactical, are you with us? Bruce Wayne, why don't you go first?
I mean, he was clearly in danger, a threat of his life. I don't have a problem with it. I'd no bill it.
Okay. Fidgy.
Okay, so at the very beginning, they're kind of an argument. The guy turns his back to the cop. Is that a cop?
He is a security guard employed by McDonald's.
Okay. He turns his back to the security guard, so it doesn't seem like it's too right there. And the cop hits him. I'm not sure why the cop hit him, other than just it just sounded
He's a
like he was
security
pissed
guard.
off.
Because he's not a
The
cop and not
security guard.
properly
Sorry,
trained.
I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't know. I think the security guard was at fault in that one. From
So
what we're seeing here,
would you
I
indict
would build
him?
that. Yeah.
Definitely didn't have good de-escalation tactics.
I'll be honest with you, this one, I don't think that you need any more information than what you see here to make a decision on whether this was justifiable use of deadly force or not, in my opinion. How we got here doesn't matter, in my opinion, as to what we see here, because this is, I think, the foundation of it. So you would indict the security officer for
Attack, yeah.
Use of force or
For assault?
Well, it could be murder. It depends on where the round landed.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I was concentrating on the golf club. But yeah, I would definitely indict.
I don't see tacticals even in the room anymore. Big Ron, what do you think?
Oh, I think it's a sad point where we've gotten to the point we have to have security guards inside of McDonald's. Just kind of shows you where society has gone in some of those areas. You know, I'm kind of on the fence on this one a little bit. I know you said we don't have to know what led up prior. We've got enough information, and I think I agree with that. I'd kind of like to know why the police officer, I'm sorry, the security officer was going after him in the first place. But as soon as the security officer struck him in the back,
Let me ask you this. Let's say a security officer is the owner of McDonald's, and the owner of McDonald's went to that table. What justification would the owner of the McDonald's need to be legally justified to ask that person to leave the property?
he wouldn't need. You can tell anybody to leave your property at any point and refuse service to anybody.
So a security officer, when they're employed, they act as the agent of the property. So does a security officer have the authority to go to that person and ask him to leave?
Well, the point that I'm getting at is that he's now using force. An asp is force. Why has he gotten to the point where he needs to use force with a person just sitting there? And then when he struck him in the back, which is a big no-no, you don't hit in the back. At least from what I was taught.
Hang on, watch. For whatever reason, he makes contact. He asks him to leave. This guy reaches and grabs his ass.
He just jabbed him with the asp. I want to know why the force needed to be used.
It didn't. And here's the thing: he doesn't really. He has the authority to ask him to leave, but when it comes to rendering like direct physical force like that, the guy He wasn't posing a threat. He was sitting there.
Is
And
the
if
term you're
he
looking
was,
for, is he authorized to use force for the gentleman
no,
to force the person to leave?
no, he could tell him to leave. If he doesn't leave, and the guy's not being physically like aggressive, like hurting anybody, that's when you call the actual police who do have the authority to use force to force him to leave.
Um, I just know in Texas, security officers, like in clubs, bouncers, absolutely use force all the time. They
Well, I was a
completely
bouncer, and this is a
justified.
different situation.
Yeah, no, in Texas you can now. As
Well,
far
well,
as
well, hang on. I'm sorry to cut you off. You say that's a different situation, Lawyer Joe. Explain to me legally how's that a different situation?
Well, when I was a bouncer, it was you. We didn't do anything until the person physically aggressed. Like you asked them to leave, and then if they didn't, you're like, I'll escort you out, I'll whatever. But we also always had a cop within like a mile of the bar because it was the most popular bar in the area, and
I'm
there was
sorry.
always.
I'm sorry. I completely misunderstood you. I thought you said that being a bouncer is a completely different situation as
Oh, no,
being
no,
a
no.
security guard here legally, and I just don't see
No, no,
that.
no, no, not at all. I just mean like that someone had better take a swing and contact if you were gonna, and we never like, okay, I fought somebody once, but normally you just kind of grab their arm and gently escort them out of the establishment. No, but legally there's no difference.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Dr. Doug. Go ahead.
no, no, no. It's just I guess the laws are different in Texas because I bounced down here for a long time, and you definitely put hands on people. There's a variety of different reasons. That being said, look, there's a point in this video that, like you said, once we have it, it's about right there. Look at the way that he's doing it. Doesn't look. It looks to me like he has a knife. I don't know if he's got a knife or not, but the officer after the altercation it looks like he's got an injury to his head. I don't know if it was for a punch. I don't know if it was a knife. It looked like the guy got cut. That's what I had seen. So, but at that point, absent that, I think old boy's getting indicted because that's an he initiated the guy. It looked like he was wanting to disengage, and then you reinitiated it by using that baton. So at that point, you've got a choice. You can either find yourself on trial for murder or assault with a deadly weapon, or you can call the cops to have them come on out.
His hand is empty prior to being struck with the baton. His right hand is empty prior to being struck with the baton. I see what you're saying. It does almost look like he maybe have a knife in his hand, but he never takes it back into his hoodie. That hand is engaged in the fight from the time he gets struck. He turns with it, and it's one of the I don't think he was armed with a knife.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. The only saving grace would be if this officer, even though that he did engage, okay, um, looking like he had suffered some kind of an injury that at that point he maybe said, "Wait a minute, you see the way he's kind of like drawing blood off himself, or it looks like he's got an injury to his
Well,
head."
he took about a 3-piece to his face.
Yeah, yeah, it's again, it's really hard to say, but look, at that point, it looks like he's probably bleeding, a little bit. So, but his escalation, whenever the guy starts to disengage, where he doesn't try to even de-escalate, he just re-engages. At that point, that's going to be problematic, even moving forward.
Is he required by law to try to de-escalate?
No, no, he's a security officer. He's not.
So sitting on a grand jury, would you take that into consideration?
Yeah, I would, but you know. We're going to find out. I mean, a lot of it's going to have to do. It's a public place. We don't know if the guy's, what kind of crime he's committing. There's a lot of other factors that we don't know about. Did he try to injure somebody? Did he assault anybody? What else is going on? So,
But the cops or security guy screwed himself as soon as the guy starts to disengage and walk away. Like, and if you thought he was a threat at that point, still, you call the real cops who have the arresting power.
yeah, that's a big problem. That's a big problem
Right
with this
there.
guy.
The guy turns around, starts to walk away. If you think he's a threat, you call the cops. Hey, this dude's leaving here.
Is the way it is in Ohio? You have a statute requiring you to disengage and call the police?
No, But you can't turn around and do that as soon as his back's facing you, and there
Well,
was
tell
nothing
me
like he
legally
was
why.
walking
That's kind of
away.
what I'm asking for. I'm asking for a legal foundation as to why this officer is wrong by striking this guy on
Because
the
he had
crack
no
of his elbow
reasonable
when he's turned
fear.
around.
There was no reasonable fear for his life or safety when
Is
the
that the
dude's
standard
walking
for
away.
using force? Do you think he might be allowed to use force to force someone's presence off of a premises as a security guard?
Not the type of force he used.
Which type of
That's
force could be?
assault.
Which type of force could be?
You could ask him to leave. If you wanted to put hands on, you could put hands on and like try to pull him towards the door and be like, you got to go. And if the guy starts fighting, like, I mean, if the guy pulls out a gun, yeah, shoot him. But he didn't.
So you would only be authorized to use open hand techniques.
Yeah, reasonable.
Reasonable things. I've been a security officer too, and I've been a bouncer. So I'm like, I've never done anything like this. And if someone walks away, I'm like, thank you. Now I don't have to fight this dumbass.
So what if they grab your ass baton and they hold on to it?
You can have it. You want it?
No, we got.
Why are you bringing out an asp on a man
weapon?
who's? Why are you bringing out an asp on a man who's sitting at a bench in McDonald's?
Does he have the authority as an agent of the owner to ask anyone to leave for any reason?
Yes, he can ask them to leave for any.
Then what does it matter what he was doing before?
I said, what right does he? He doesn't have the authority to pull out an asp on a man who was just sitting there. From what we could see, there's the dude is sitting there. He might have been an asshole. He might have been whatever. And the guard was like, "Hey, dude, you got to go." And the guy's like, "No." So he pulls out his.
I've seen it. And you're like adding words to it. So let's move on. I think we're digging ourselves in a hole here because I don't think I'm going to get what I'm asking for.
Well, what are you asking for? Tell us.
The legal foundation.
Well, look, essentially the same standards are going to apply to a law enforcement. They're going to apply to a private security agent. Okay. You're going to have a certain level that starts where you have the ability to do X, Y, and Z. When it gets past the point that your actions are not reasonable to stop the original threat, okay, it becomes problematic. It becomes problematic. And that security officer cannot just beat the crap out of that guy with an asp, especially when he turns his back. If he turns his back, there's nobody there. They're walking away. It's the same thing that we talk about all the time on your show, Joe. And I mean, of course, there you're going to have a jury that's going to disagree. But as far as what you're going to see as an original jury charge, yeah, it's going to be reasonable. And that is where you stepped over the line of reasonableness, and now you have re-engaged as the aggressor. That's going to be a problem.
So what about? So you're saying the security guard is I guess Lawyer Joe, both of you guys are saying that a security guard is limited in the force they can use to force someone off of property.
Yes, you can't just see them on the property and, hey, you're here, in my parking lot, and I'm going to cap you. No, you can't light somebody up like that. That's correct.
Well, we didn't start with capping him. He didn't walk to the booth over there and shoot him in the forehead. He went to force him.
Does it matter? Does it matter? I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it matters. At the end of the day, that was the absolute use of force. Now you're going to start getting different degrees of threat.
The use of the asp baton seemed to be was a big deal for you guys. So I'm getting to the point with the asp baton. Can he use an asp baton to force someone to leave his property?
Only if he's met with force.
If someone,
if the guy was harmless, the guy wasn't doing anything, he was literally sitting there being an asshole. No, you don't get to pull out a weapon.
So what about him pulling on the asp baton? If he disarms the security guard with the asp baton, is that a problem for them?
The same use of force continuum. The same use of force continuum applies.
If I'm the police officer and you take my asp baton, you might get shot.
Yeah, because now you have a deadly weapon.
Right. If you incapacitate me, I've got the gun on my hip. So what makes the security guard situation any different?
The guy starts walking away. He let go of the asp. He let the cop have it, and he started walking away. And the cop hit him in the back. Fuck that. Or the security guy hit him in the back. Fuck that guy.
They struck him on the arm, which is actually a trained hit. It looked like he was using the asp baton.
It looked like he hit him in the back, near the back of the head. Maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't matter. The dude was walking away.
It's not very long. So the guy's pulling on the asp baton there, being compliant. He's not doing anything, just wanted chicken McNuggets.
and he's going
I'll,
to get some
I'll
big
take
tell
his
you
money.
other
what.
hand. He ponies up with the second hand on it, pulling it.
I'll tell you what, Joe. If Barney Fife
Security
walked up
officer
and poked me with a baton for absolutely no reason, he's going to get his ass beat.
strikes him between the elbow and the shoulder on his arm.
It
Well, let
looked
me
like
ask you this, Big Ron. If a security guard come to you and ask you to leave McDonald's, would you?
I would leave. But that thing is, from what I'm seeing, he walks up, he already pokes the guy with him, he grabs the baton because he got poked. Dude's going to get his ass beat. And living in Florida, dude's probably going to get shot straight up. He
So
was
you're saying
wrongly hit.
you have a problem with initial contact here?
I do. I have 100% initial contact problems. I would 100% indict this guy.
Okay. And both my attorneys, you guys are indictments on this, right?
yes.
Yeah.
PB, what do you think?
From the initial contact, it sounded like the security guard was telling him to sit down, I think is what I was hearing. I might be wrong.
Let's go back and listen.
Okay, sit down. Sit down, so sit
Oh, he's
down.
saying stand up.
One of these motherfuckers. Ready,
I heard
go.
sit down.
I heard sit down while he was already sitting.
Yeah,
I
so
need English classes.
it sounds like sit down to me. So if that's the case, it sounds like
Or get down or sit down or something.
No, I thought he was saying get up.
Sit down. Sit down, so sit down.
Or he's done.
Okay, sit down. Sit down, so sit down.
That's down or done.
Okay, so I'm hearing three different things from what it sounds like to me. I'm hearing either sit down, get up, or get out is what I'm hearing. And from what it looks like is like if either any of those him saying, it's kind of like he's stuck in that oopty oop already, because I don't know what happened before it, but he's already stuck in it, because any of those that he was saying the dude can't do anyways because he's over the top of them and with the asp.
Do you want to explain that acronym you just used?
The oop doop. It's basically he's like stuck in a situation where your adrenaline's pumping, kind of like a cop yelling at someone to get on the ground that's already on the ground and just keeps yelling it no matter what, and it's just stuck in their head on repeat over and over again. They can't. That's what they're thinking of. From what it sounds like, he's already stuck in that because he's telling them to either get up, get out, or or sit down, and he can't get up because he's over him. He's already sitting down, and he can't get out because he's in the way. I don't really agree with.
If you had to judge this guy, how would you do it? Would you indict him for a jury trial, or would you no bill him as justifiable use of deadly force?
I mean, not knowing. I know you say we have enough.
You got what you got.
Here.
I need a decision. A thumbs up or a thumbs down, like you're an emperor.
I'm kind of on the fence with this one. I really am.
Sideways thumb?
Yeah, sideways thumb here.
Okay. I'll take it. That's kind of a no vote. Go, Jason.
There's no sideways thumbs. Come on now.
He would indict.
I feel like this horse passed away some time ago. So I thought we'd go on to Jason.
I'm indicting.
At 100%, I'm indicting. The baton blow to the elbow is what is for me. The gentleman that disengaged in trespassing, let's take that as you have to give them an opportunity to do so. And I'm not going to kill someone as a security guard. Probably not, me personally probably wouldn't use physical force to remove them from property. As a police officer, I absolutely would, because I have a little more latitude there just to enforce the law and gain compliance. But yes, 100% indict this guy. I think he created a deadly force situation in what you guys are actually saying with the turn and strike. I agree, and I'm also with Big Ron. I got something's going on with that poke at the booth. That could have been the spark that lit it off. And I think any one of us, if somebody walked up and poked us in the shoulder with an asp baton, that would get our attention and maybe attention that they don't want from us. So yes, 100% indict.
I have.
How does that make you feel? How does that make you feel, PB? You're the only one that's like sideways thumb, all like me. I don't know. Maybe
I was pointing more towards the indict, but then again, I really didn't understand what was happening before. I don't agree with the pulling out the ass. I really don't. There was no physical there until he did that. And then yes, even with the hit, he turned away, and I know you don't hit them when they turn away. Um, I didn't agree with that, but I'm not really for sure. I was like
So
asking
it
about
sounds
that.
to me like the thumb is slowly turning down.
Yeah, it's slowly turning down more and more as I'm thinking about it and going over it. But I had another question about the ass. Like, even if he didn't turn away, I wouldn't have hit him in the arm. If I wanted to take him down, I'd have went for, you know, behind the knee area.
With ASP training, though, is a strike to the outside of the arm. Is that permitted?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is, but to
You wouldn't do it as a tactical point, but you're not saying that would be wrong if he did.
yeah, no, it's not wrong if he did. I mean, he hit him in the right spot, but to try to demobilize him, I would have hit him in the leg area. But it should have never got to that
Yeah,
that
I
situation.
like the upper thigh, and the aspeton's worthless in those situations. To be quite frank, but it's great for breaking glass. It's my favorite thing to do with an aspeton: break glass. Let's go to New York.
Get out of the way! Get down! Get down! Get down now! Get out of the way! Get out of the way! Get out of the way! Get her out of the way! I'm so sorry. Get her out of the way now! No! Put it down! Put it down!
All right, that's all you get. This is in New York City, a disturbance call. The best I can gather, the gentleman in the black coat has got a knife and was menacing with a knife. Family members, police officers arrive, and you see what you see. So let's go to. Did we lose? Oh, no, we still got Fiji. Let's go to Fiji.
Jeez. Yeah, that's heartbreaking. That's really heartbreaking. I don't even know what to think on that. Yeah, I'll go along with Burton on that. No bill.
You're a no bill?
Oh, so heartbreaking, yeah.
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, absolutely no bill. And not only the 21-foot rule, he had a knife, but he was also looked like he was actively attacking people. So, yeah, definitely a no bill on this one.
Big Ron.
Yeah, it's definitely a no bill. I agree. It's heart wrenching situation, but is what it is.
Lawyer Joe.
I agree. As soon as they got the mom out of the way, the kid or whoever was standing up, he could have just dropped it, and he didn't. And the cop gave him plenty of opportunity. So I in this case, I almost feel bad for the cop because you could tell, like, he didn't want to shoot him, but the dude had a weapon, was hurting his family. So no bill.
Dr. Doug.
No bill.
Jason.
Priorities of life. They should have shot him earlier.
Yeah, like right when he grabbed it off the table.
Number one is life of the innocent / victims. And this guy grabbed a weapon and went towards an innocent. That's deadly force is justified. They waited too long.
You know what? I'm not going to pass judgment. I say it's a good shoot. Justifiable homicide. But I'm not going to pass judgment on the officer. That's one of those crazy situations, man. And I know you've been in that, Jason. I've been in it as well. Where you've got a domestic and you've got mom, aunt, uncles, grandpas. Everybody's involved. It's just a damn melee. I 100% believe that the officer that had to pull the trigger at least was probably as angry as he's ever been after that was over with at the family for putting him into that damn situation. But definitely a no bill. Super tragic. Let's Let's talk about 21 feet.
Hey, drop the line! Drop! 5 7.
There's a glitch in the matrix.
Hey, drop the line! Drop! 5 7. Shots fired. Shots fired. Shots fired. Hey, I know it. Back up. Back up. Back up. Start the line. Start the line. Not secure. Not secure. Do not secure him. Hey, stay on the ground. Stay down. Stay down.
That dude just straight up respawned.
Hey, what? No. Hold on. Hold on. What's the crossfire? Get down. What's the crossfire? Tase him. Go out and tase him. The bullets didn't take him down, but the taser's gonna.
Well, but technically both of them took him down, but he was actually apprehended with the taser. And I don't know if he lived or he died. I don't know any more about this other than what it is. We have a good example of the 21-foot rule. If you're watching the beginning, watch this guy. He's coming up close. How fast is he's able to close in on this officer, and the officer's even backing up. And I don't know that we got a bill or no bill type of situation on this, but it is unusual. Well, I say that. It's not unheard of for people to take rounds that you think are going to debilitate or kill and then get up and kind of walk off. They'll do that for a while. Eventually the wounds will catch up, but this is not unheard of. Maybe keep that in mind when you're like, well, they didn't need to shoot him that many times, or why are they still yelling? He's down. Because, we'll get that as well. Let's go to Fidji. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I thought it was a good example of that. Yeah, I would. They did good.
Big Ron.
Clean shoot. We need to find out who's doing the combat res, though.
We got to do what?
Combat res. First person shooter. Guy goes down. You heal him on the field.
Video game
It's
style. Yeah.
Nerd shit.
Go ahead, Lawyer Joe. Tell him how much nerd shit it is.
No, I was telling Ron what Ron was talking about was nerd shit. I think the cop was totally justified. The guy's coming at him. He's backing up. Tells him to stop. He doesn't stop. I'd shoot somebody coming at me with a knife too. So, no, I just meant Ron talking about nerdy.
Yeah, I'm going to have to send you the definition of a segue, and we may have to go over that a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm not good at that.
I've seen. Let's go to Dr. Doug. No, we lost Dr. Doug. Well, he got just tired of waiting.
Leave.
It's past his bedtime.
PB, what do you think about this one?
I think it's a good shoot, and then I like how the other cop is telling him to watch out for the crossfire. It is crazy to see someone, you think you put him down and just get up and start walking away like that. I like how one of the cops went to less than lethal, the taser, while the other one still had lethal on them just in case.
So, yeah, the officers use pretty good tactics. Looks like they're
they use great tactics.
Yeah. Jason, what do you think about this one?
I got no problem with it all. Shoot until the threat stops. If you were justified deadly force up front, and I actually respect them that's a weird one where it went from deadly force, you shot the fucker, and then all of a sudden it's a less lethal moment because he's walking away.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It started out lethal, but ended less lethal. You don't see that every day.
No bill, not for me, not at all.
Very good. Let's go to Atlanta.
All right, we're blue lighting it. Coming up to 20 eastbound, stand by, see what it does. We're still rolling. We'll be in pursuit, 20 eastbound. 50-1, I copy. What does traffic look like?
God, I've pitted them
Traffic
already.
medium, speeds right now 71, 16 setting up for a pit. No good, still 20 eastbound, speeds over 90. Medium traffic.
Like riding with Jason.
Pit. Pit.
for sure thought they were going to hit that median.
Send it, Jazz. I got it. Send it. Second pit.
Send it, Jazz. I got it. Send it. Second pit. Stand by. Box in. They're throwing guns out. Box them. Watch up, Jazz.
DSP got the dog.
Come on now with your hands up.
I got less.
Okay, don't reach for anything. Keep your hands up. Okay?
Hey, responding units.
Come on.
I need y'all to go to that
Run on this left side.
right shoulder and get those weapons.
Keep coming up.
Right there.
Turn around. Grab that gun on the left side.
You got Phoenix with you as well to help out.
I can't see anybody else.
We got a team effort. We got Fulton County NGSP out here. We're good. We're getting all.
Yo, look at the dude on the far right in the white shirt and cap. What's he, like 8?
I was
He's
gonna
a
say 12.
baby.
No secondary vehicle collision.
I couldn't see his date of birth.
Must be
His is
that
probably
pink,
the pink gun.
that pink gun was his.
Yeah, it's pink gun.
So there you go. You guys were wondering about pit maneuvers. They had that down. They were doing like trade-off pit maneuvers, tag teaming pit maneuvers.
I will say about 90% of the videos I've seen with pit maneuvers were out of Georgia. They love doing that.
No, they're not the only ones. Pit maneuvers are fun. But go ahead, Fidgy. What do you think about that? Any issues with the officers? Any comments on the video?
Nope. Glad it ended peacefully. I noticed the guy's name though. I gotta kind of giggle at that. Right.
Say the name that you're giggling.
I noticed Rodriguez. He's in the middle there. Is that the American version of Rodriguez?
That's Rodriguez Seaborn in I don't know.
Oh, they all kind of have Spanish names. Well, I'm very confused.
Elijah Boyd. That's not really.
Yeah, that's not Spanish. But look at the first one, Raquirez.
Yeah, I got nothing on that.
And we're gonna move along. So let's go to Bruce Wayne. What do you think about this one?
Gouge. Yeah, no, I have no problem with it. No, some good pits. I
thought
it.
The first pit he was going to go.
Yeah, it looked like he steered into that and kind of corrected. But no, his entertaining chase.
Big Ron.
Good driving.
Yeah, I mean, total shake and bake, man. Shake and bake. 100% good.
PB.
I think it was good. Good communication, good pits.
Those officers did pretty good on their communication. They were almost like two killer whales passing off a seal they were playing with, prey. He flipped her, or he kicks the first pit. He spins out of it. She puts in position and gets it. He's there to receive it. I thought the crosstalk was impressive. Jason, what do you think? You don't do pits in Minnesota, right? Don't you just leave a pink teddy bear at their house and ask them to turn in?
I've actually done, I think, 7 pits in my career. I liked everything up until this moment here. I way too fucking close, no cover. Tactically, that would have made me a little scared. And they pulled 5 guns out of that car. That could have turned out really bad.
Hang on, the officer at the end, they threw the guns out after the last pit.
You find one, you might find 10. I'm not approaching that car like that. Box them in and step back, call them out. Don't approach the car like that.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty going through the driver's side window, yanking them out for the opportunity to pull the handle. Yeah,
that's adrenaline, young cop stuff. These guys in the back there, they're sitting ducks. The windows are tinted. Loved it up until this point. I do not like the arrest at all.
I see points on the arrest, but I'm gonna give him 5 stars on this. The pits were pretty damn good. The communication was there, and it doesn't seem like they kept themselves not as drove up as you would see others, I think, in this type of situation. But let's watch his first pit again. He's good. He's good. He's right there on the quarter panel. He breaks traction, and it's a good slide. But the kid was able to keep the wheels going on that. That should have ended it, in my opinion. That was a good pit.
The problem with that is you have to have a second squad to box him into. Like, you hit the pit here, get him spinning. You need another squad to come in behind you to pin him against the wall. So that's what they're missing. That's just a 360 back on track again.
Well, no, I believe he did have it. Watch both officers. Hang on.
Okay. The other officer needs to box him in.
All right, this is the first pit from the pitter's point of view. See, the other was there. He could no problem move in and box in if he got into the wall. I think if that pit had gone 360 and put him into the wall or facing the other direction, I think this officer was in a position to take it.
Oh, he's in position.
I think your criticism is just a little too strict there, sir.
No, what I'm saying is this camera here was way too far back when the pit happened.
Maybe he didn't get in the chase until later, and he's trying to catch up.
I'm just saying how it works.
I know, but you're making me defend cops. Knock it off.
Yeah,
but I do have one question for.
I'm not being a hater. I'm just telling you that you have to, when you pit somebody, the communication needs to be, are you ready? Are you ready? Behind you, because the second squad comes in and boxes them in. It's not just a one squad operation.
But they did that. They didn't use your exact words, but they did that. He's like, go, go. I got it. I'm catching. Go, go.
I'm being critical. I'm just saying that's not how we're
You're being pedantic. How would you have handled the arrest, Jason? That's what I wanted to ask. Since you didn't like how they did it, like, how would you do it?
There's no cover here. And again, I've done this myself where your emotions are so high, especially in a high-speed chase, that you just want to bum rush this car. And over time, you kind of learn that they've subjected themselves with there's guns that were tossed out, or guns were recovered. They have zero cover whatsoever. You can't see in that car. That guy's got a taser. I mean, this is a lethal force moment right here. Put that fucking thing away. But back off, call them out, not 5 feet away from you. Box them in, back off.
Stolen car is reason for the stop, by the way. Not that anybody asked.
Yeah, my 2 cents.
I'll take the criticism on they could have backed off and given themselves some more room, but I've done the same thing. I get it.
No, I have too. I honestly have. And
the day would be worse for anybody in that car to send a round out. Yeah, definitely officer issues, but it's going to be everybody dead inside that car issues. No police there to Swiss cheese it. Except that guy on the end. He may be small enough to dodge every bullet that comes through there.
My point is one of the good guys does not have to take a round to blow the car up after that. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree. Well, folks, that's our show tonight. We're going to cut it just about 10 minutes early, just be quite frankly, because I'm out of videos. That's the best I could come up with this week. It's been a slow week for recording crime fighting. Actually, to be honest, agencies will release these as they go. That Pier one, I've been watching for that one since whenever it happened, maybe January or February. Could have been as early as February, but I've been watching for that one to hit the bricks so we could put it out, and that was just this week, although I'm still a little disappointed in it. I thought it could have done better. But catch us in the after party. If you're following us on X, if you're on YouTube, go to X and follow us. We'll have an after party. Give me about 30 minutes for my co-host and myself to get our legs stretched and something fresh to drink, and we can continue the conversation in an X Space after party. Thanks, everybody, and special thanks to my co-host and my panel members here tonight. Thank you.
Hello.
No.
And did you ever get any money from Maya Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those
fellas. None of these that I've been reading about, and none that I knew. They never gave me anything.
None of the machetes?
No. I don't even speak to. I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk. No.
Night Court with Joe Lanou, live on X.
Also known as Duck Corella. I refuse to answer on the grounds of main intent to criminal. You got any business? I refuse to answer on the grounds of intent to criminal. You have any profession? I refuse to answer on the grounds of main intent to criminal. You have any occupation? I refuse to answer on the grounds of main intent to criminal. Are you a known racketeer? I refuse to answer on the grounds of